Today we revisit a project from like 5 years ago to finally solve an old problem. And y'all won't believe just how close we were last time. But first, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dev Diary, a series where I try to make my own video games. And so if game dev videos are your thing, consider subscribing to the channel. And make sure notifications are turned on so you don't miss future videos. So the Minecraft movie coming out reminded me that years ago we attempted to recreate the crafting system in gamemaker. And we got pretty close. We managed to figure out how to place materials in patterns to create their respective items. However, our system would not allow the user to just craft anywhere on the grid. For example, everything had to be placed in a certain order or it just wouldn't work, which is decidedly, not how it works in Minecraft. Which brings us to today and our attempt to figure out how to fix that issue. Now, it's been so long since the original project, we're starting from scratch, but using the same exact setup. Which, by the way, if you want to watch the first attempt, that video can be found in the description. We've got a few crafting materials to the left, only a few because this is just a test project, and we've got our 3x3 crafting grid. The user can click on one of the resources, more or less grabbing it, to which it then can be placed anywhere on the grid. When that resource is placed on the grid, our system kicks in, and warning, we're about to get a little technical here. As with the original project, our grid is converted into one single string. That string is then compared to our crafting list, which contains all of our data, including the correct combination for each recipe. But you'll notice that these strings are far shorter than last time, and this is how we're solving the issue. Whenever we output the grid data, all we need to do is trim the fat. Literally all that was missing last time was to remove any unused spaces from the beginning and ending of our string output. This condenses the string to just the pertinent data needed. Kinda like the data that did you know if you enjoy my content, supporting me on Patreon is the best way to help me keep making it, and doing so can get you access to exclusive content and downloads, and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. So, the reason that this works is because the grid is small enough that combinations can only exist within certain parameters. That means regardless of where on the grid an item is constructed, the pattern after trimming the fat never changes. So by just checking for that pattern and completely disregarding the empty spaces, we can finally replicate Minecraft's crafting system almost one for one. And to make sure that all of this was guaranteed to work, I even built a dev tool that would generate the recipes for me. And I'm bringing this up for one main reason. This background. I did not make this background. It's something that just comes with gamemaker, and I have no idea why or when one would ever need to use something like this. So this background is displayed when the project is in quote-unquote dev mode. This mode works similarly to the normal mode, with the exception of an output functionality. This function basically takes whatever is currently set up in the grid and outputs the data to be easily copied or saved for future use. Basically an easy to use crafting editor. Very useful, very fun, very blocky. And if we're being honest, I did not expect the answer to be so obvious. It was a pleasant surprise nonetheless, and really goes to show how important knowledge and experience are in this field. Like while I was able to figure out 90% of the problem years ago, it wasn't until I spent more time messing with data and learning new techniques that I had that, eureka moment. So if there's anything really that you could take away from today's video is that, you should never give up and never stop learning. And so in the comments, let me know something that you're learning to do right now. Doesn't even have to be game dev related. But if you have also tried remaking Minecraft's crafting system yourself, were you successful or not, and what methods did you use to try to make it happen? As always, I'd love to hear from you, so be sure to share your thoughts and stories in the comments. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like. With that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.